Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadguruntam Namami.
Nithyanandam, we welcome all the Sri Mahants, Kotaris, Tanedars, Samajis, Satsangis, Balasans, visitors and viewers all over the world to this Vaakyaartha Sadhas by Balasans of Nithyananda Gurukul. Today, the topic of Vaakyaartha Sadhas is deciding for life. How will it make your biomemory and muscle memory pure? In the three things, in the way of thought, word and action.
I have a question from today's morning satsang. Today Swamiji said any decision we make without any conflict is right and any decision we make with conflict is wrong, irrespective of what the decision is. So, if we make a decision to murder someone without any conflict or steal from someone without any conflict, is it right? How is it right?
At this point, we really don't know whether the murderer thinks how he feels when it is a conflict, like when he's going to murder, whether he has it like one part of himself tells that no, murdering is wrong, and then he still goes and murders for due to some other vested interest or some other thing. Then of course, yes, that person, what he's doing is wrong. So we really don't know from what is the space from which the murderer is doing that.
I have a question. How does words matter? How does thoughts matter for our biomemory?
Okay, see, so your thoughts becomes your words and your words becomes your actions. So any action you constantly keep doing, that will naturally become your, first it will become your muscle memory, and when the action is repeated again and again, it will become your muscle memory. So this is how it affects.
Can you explain what is biomemory?
Biomemory is like muscle memory is the decisions which you make day to day, like brushing your teeth or taking bath and so on. Biomemory is when the muscle memory decisions, when you continuously take it again and again, repeatedly, those decisions become your biomemory.
Adding to his point, biomemory is something like when it is the very deep decisions of your life. When you're going to make those decisions, it will be out of your biomemory. Like if you are thinking whether should I go to the bathroom or not, or should I go to the school or not, how should I go to the school? All these are like you act out of your muscle memory. But when it comes like, should I take sannyas? Should I get married? All these, when you, suppose you decide, I'm going to take sannyas, the space of completion which you feel inside will be out of biomemory. So the most important decisions of your life will be taken from biomemory.
Is biomemory the thing which is transferred from one birth to the next?
As far as I know, it is not that way, because biomemory not very clear about it. I'll get back on that.
Okay, see, for your question, what I understand is, first when the baby is inside the mother's womb, the baby actually carries the mother's biomemory because the baby is born out of the mother's womb. So the mother's biomemory will be recorded into the baby. So how much complete the mother is, so much complete the baby will be. So the biomemory will change from birth to birth is what I understand.
One thing I'm very sure of is muscle memory will surely change, because muscle memory is something which is physically stored in your muscles. So when you change the body, all the muscle memory gets erased and then there is new muscle memory which forms. But I am not very sure about the biomemory.
I have a question. Today in Satsang, Swami told, when your decision to live is strong, whoever, anyone passes in front of you also will just catch your biomemory. Then when we are, even when we go next to Swamiji and come back, then why do we again fall into, self-doubt or whatever?
You get in a space when you're right next to Swamiji, not always. Like when you come back from the space of Swamiji, you start getting back to your old incompletions. Like it may be from studies or from any incompletion which is there in you. You start getting back from the space of Swamiji to the space of your incompletions.
And like how Swamiji told, in today's satsang itself, Swamiji told that when a person came to him for healing, that time the body completely felt all right, and then the body was very complete about it. But then immediately few hours later, again the body went back to the old situation. So it's basically that the person has decided to himself that I cannot do it, this life is not worthy, nothing is going to happen, he is just mesmerizing me. So these decisions which he has taken or that person has taken, so many times has become so strong in him that when the person comes to Swamiji, immediately the being listens to Swamiji and gets so much of energy to live, the inspiration to live. But the moment it moves out of the energy from Swamiji's space, then immediately the whole thing gets collapsed. The mind again starts playing the role, and then the incompletion.
But see, when we go into the breathing space of Swamiji, he says the biomemory gets transferred. He doesn't work on our mind. Our mind keeps on changing. It can't be trusted. It keeps on changing. But this is biomemory level. How can it be changed? How can it keep on wavering? It's biomemory.
See, what you are telling is right, but due to our SDHT, we keep falling back into our incompletions. We don't trust that our biomemory will continuously stay in the same state. That's the reason why we actually fall back into our incompletions and we forget that we still carry that biomemory.
And apart from that, it can even be he has decided so many times, the person has decided so many times that cognition has become part of his biomemory. That can also be a reason. But that is the reason when he comes to Swamiji, immediately biomemory listens. But then again after some time, again it gets back to the old thing. So it is not that the biomemory does not listen to Swamiji. It listens. But then after some time, he forgets the whole thing. The person leaves the whole thing.
That means will the biomemory be constantly changing?
From what I understand, biomemory itself doesn't change. Biomemory remains as it is. It is because of a SDHT with that in which the healing takes place. Like as the example which was told, when Swamiji had given the healing, the biomemory did listen to him, but the biomemory listened to Swamiji. But as he came back, because of his SDHT, will what Swamiji's healing work? Do I deserve his healing? Because of his SDHT, the healing, he in a way stops the healing process.
From my experience, biomemory can change. Why it is for me is because when Swamiji told in the Shivoham process, is directly working on the bioenergy, biomemory. So when he changes the whole process, it's nothing to do with us. So he realigns the whole biomemory and the energy to the purpose for which we have come here. So the biomemory can change. Now if the decision for you to change, for you to transform is so strong, then the biomemory can be changed, because again and again repeated action of something will become your biomemory. So the decision that you want to transform can overpower your old cognition that life is not useful or something like that, decision against life. So it's basically your decision to live.
By touching people, our biomemory gets passed, or what is that which gets passed?
Okay, see, once Swamiji clearly told, actually the muscle memory is transferred. But then what happens, as you go to bed in the same space, it slowly starts becoming your biomemory. So if you do completion every day and night, that won't happen, because you're completing with everything you did the whole day and before that also. So it can't become your biomemory anymore, because you're removing it from your muscle memory by completing with it.
And Swamiji also told in the Shivoham process that once after the Shivoham process, just cleansing your body before you go to sleep can remove the effects of the touching. Like when the muscle memory passes from the other person, it can be a negative energy or it can be a higher energy. Cleansing will remove the negative energy. So it is only, as far as I know, it is only the muscle memory transfer which happens immediately. Biomemory can happen if that continuously that touch is happening, then it can become a biomemory. Like how when Swamiji keeps initiating, the energy is so strong that our biomemory itself gets transformed.
So does biomemory get inside us and react with our original biomemory when we sleep off? Or when does it happen?
Can you put the question a little more better?
See, what I have a question is that when does the biomemory take its effects? Like, is it after sleeping or during taking bath or something like that?
The moments when you are completely with yourself.
It gets inside.
I feel the moments when you are completely with yourself, the biomemory the muscle memory settles and becomes biomemory.
And even when you're completely unconscious, even at that time is what I feel the biomemory settling even happens. And there's nothing like original biomemory, duplicate biomemory, something to change and all that. Biomemory is something which is there in us. It is only your cognition which can overpower each other cognition. Like how I told, if your decision to live is stronger than your decision to be against, decision of being against life, then your biomemory is deciding for living. It can overpower and you can transform and you can realign your life even this moment. Like how Swamiji told in today's satsang, that till now you would have decided 20,000 times that deciding against life. But now taking a decision, I will align myself back and I'll decide for life, can complete it this moment. So it's only your decision and your trust on your decision.
Will we know what is our biomemory?
If you look inside and contemplate deeply, then you can understand what is your biomemory.
I have a question. Tattva Maharaj told that if you look inside and contemplate, you will know what is your biomemory, right? So, in the first point, Sundaresh Maharaj told the major decision of your life is taken by your biomemory. Then how will you know? That time you are not knowing what to decide. So that time you will be obviously contemplating, and then how will you know your biomemory that time?
You can only decide from what is inside you. So you can know that what is inside you, and like for example, you see that only anger and hatred is inside you. So whenever in the major decisions of your life, it will only come out as anger and hatred. So when you look inside, you can change it into like gratitude and love and compassion. So in the major decisions of your life, you can use gratitude and love instead of anger and hatred. So by looking inside, you can cleanse your whole biomemory to be in a nice space.
And to take as an example, what is that in you which made you decide to leave the other things and come here and radiate and live spirituality and spread Vedic tradition? If you even look at that decision, that will show you what your biomemory is. So like these, the most important decisions, if you look back, then you'll know what is your biomemory.
Well, I just felt like I want to come here, and then I came here. There's nothing like so important in this. So how will I know my memory?
If you contemplate, you'll be able to find out what is that which made you decide.
Adding to what Sundareshwara Maharaj just told, that is the reason why Swamiji tells, before you make any major decision, complete. Take time, complete, and only then you have to make any major decision in life, so that you know what you really want in life.
How does that help? How does that help in taking decisions? You know, like, what?
When you're complete, the way you cognize things will be different. The way you perceive things will be different. So when you're in complete space, the decision which you take for you and for your own life will be the right decision which you take for you.
And taking decisions from the right context is the most important thing in our life. Many of us take decisions like without knowing anything and then later repent for it. So here in Gurukul also, Swamiji is basically teaching us, take decisions from the right context. Whatever the right context is, take decisions from that. That is why we set the context for every action we do before performing it.
Swamiji also told today that when you make a decision without any conflicts, that time it will always be right. So when you complete yourself and when you bring yourself back, you won't have any conflicts. So that time when you make a decision, it will always be right.
So does perception come from biomemory, or is it the same thing?
Your normal day-to-day perceptions come from muscle memory. Only when you take a big decision in your life, the biomemory gets awakened and you take decisions from your biomemory.
And apart from it, what I understand as perception itself is what enters you through your eyes, through your five senses, is perception. After that, based on whatever has happened, based on whatever you have accumulated, the way you cognize life, the way you look at life, based on that the cognition happens, and that settles as your biomemory or muscle memory. So perception is only like the input, as far as I understand.
I have a question. Okay, where is biomemory exactly?
What I feel is biomemory is not something like physical. It is there in in a plane which we still have to understand.
And even muscle memory is, we know that it is stored in our muscle, but if you cut your muscle and see, you won't see a biomemory. So it's there in some other space, which we need to understand.
Then how do you say when you touch somebody, the biomemory or the muscle memory just transfers?
Because till today in your life, you've been acting based on your muscle memory and biomemory. So, you write with a pencil. So the writing comes from your muscle memory. So that writing memory is stored in your hand. So when you touch someone, the memory of you writing gets transferred to the next person.
And apart from it, the moment you are born, why do we tell that your biomemory and muscle memory is from your mother and father? Basically, mostly from your mother. Because the first touch is from your mother and you have been in your mother's womb only. So that is where when the touch happens, the biomemory and the muscle memory transfer happens. It's in a subtle plane which is not very gross where we can see.
I have one question. See, after we sleep, where do we get our dream from? Is it my muscle memory or biomemory?
Swamiji told in Yoga Sutras that dream is a completely different state. It avoids coming from somewhere. It's like It's like something you're right now awake. That is called Jakrat. That's a different state. And Swapna is a dream. That is a complete different state. And Shushupti is deep sleep. That is again complete different state. So Swapna, dream, what's coming from something. It is actually your incompletions which you live in a day-to-day life, which is I want to be fulfilled and incomplete about that. That which comes as your dream when you're sleeping.
Okay, I have a question. What is enunciation?
Okay, renunciation is actually first, see, you actually decide for few things for your life. Okay, as per that, you live your life. Okay, you decide to live till the end of your life. Okay, so when you're living, at one point of time, you actually, the new possibilities open up. Okay, so when the new possibilities open up, aligning yourself to that and standing up for that, and the things which you decided before, when it avoid contradicting with this new things which you have, leaving that is renunciation.
Can you put that out with a clear example, practical example?
Yes. Mangala, what do you think life is for you? What do you think as life for you?
For me, life is doing temple seva.
So you think that you doing temple seva is your life. So you go on expanding only that. So when you keep moving towards the temple seva, you just think, okay, temple is only my life. So suddenly when you think, no, living at the Advaita is my life, without having any incompletion, just dropping, or if needed to add the even temple seva with the Advaita, or if needed you feel no, it's not anyway connected, so you want to just drop. The decision to just stand and drop it is renunciation.
And adding to what she told, today Swami gave a clear example. He told that for one of the Swamis gave him the idea of putting a big balloon with the Nithyananda Dhyanapitam on top of it. So the Swami told okay, and Swami also told okay, then we'll put one more big balloon with the Mahashivratri thing on it so that people will know. And then he remembered that even according to the tradition also, we are supposed to raise flag for this purpose. So what I understood from this is, his life is for enriching. So now when he got more and more new things, he just added it. So that's what I understood as renunciation.
Ma Satyamaya, you just told Mangala Maharaj that he might have to give up temple seva for getting into the space of Advaita.
I never told he might have to give up. If he feels it needed to be, it can be added, he can add it. Like he can think, he can feel, if he feels that it can be connecting, some way connecting. Temple seva is some way connected to living Advaita, he can add it. He can go on with that. But if he feels no, it is not at all connecting, he should stand up for that and not think, oh, why should I leave, without any incompletion. Just dropping is renunciation. That is what I told. I never told you he has to give up.
I have a doubt. Now you get some new idea and you decide to renounce the previous way of living. Okay? What if in the future you regret for what you had renounced because of this idea, because this didn't work out for you?
What I understood by Swami telling dropping is, it's from completion. Like when you decide, you actually decide and drop it. I don't think in the future you have to regret for it if you're doing it out of completion.
A doubt with what Ma Satyamaya told. If suppose temple for him, if it is his life, temple seva, and if it is passion for him, then expanding in that itself will lead you to the purpose. Then how will something which comes in the middle lead you to the purpose? When Swamiji very clearly told, when you keep expanding in your passion itself, it will lead you to the ultimate. It will reach you to the purpose. Then, what is it that, if anything comes in the middle, why should he quit his passion?
There is no necessity for quitting. It's just adding it. Like living Advaita, take. Like, okay, his passion is temple seva. So he's living his life for temple seva. So in future, his cognition is getting more and more and more expanded. Life is expansion. So once it gets expanded, he'll think, okay, so let me add this living Advaita. So in that concept, working it through this temple seva.
You're telling adding living Advaita. What is adding living Advaita in that?
Okay, what I think of adding living Advaita to that is just every action you do in temple seva. It's your passion. Every action you just remember your Shiva and do it from that context.
But recently, with what Ma Satyamiya told, she told, if you have to go to something else higher, giving up this without having a problem and then still going ahead with the other thing is renunciation. But in the example which you gave, where is he renouncing anything? Means where is he giving up something? He's still continuing with what he's doing.
That is what. If he feels he has to, he should not add it. He should be able to stand up and drop it. But if he feels he can add it with his life again.
See, adding to what she said, in the example she gave about the balloon and the flag, these two things don't contradict each other. They're both for the same thing. So there's no need to give it up because it's not contradicting each other. But suppose what you think, what is life to you, suppose that contradicts what is the higher purpose, then you need to drop it. But in this case, it doesn't contradict, so there's no necessity to drop it.
For example, if there's a person who enjoys singing, and first the person decides their life is for singing, and then so from the cognition, they sing any song, they're enjoying like pop music and more and more and more, but later the cognition is getting improved. And when the cognition is getting matured and that person is understanding from what Swami is teaching, and that person is feeling inspired to learn traditional music, so the person just gives up the enjoyment and the passion which that person had towards this pop music and other songs.
Who is giving up expansive in life? You told that if a person was before practicing pop music and all that, and then later that person got inspired by Swamiji's teachings and wants to learn traditional music. So you told that person will drop pop music to learn traditional way of singing. So if a person is going to drop the old way of how she was singing, how is it expansive? How is dropping something expanding?
See, here what she means by dropping is not out of incompletion. She is dropping it out of completion.
How can you drop something from the space of completion when you know that it is going to expand you?
See, over here when she said that the context is different. When Swami says giving up, he means, oh, I can't do it, and from incompletion, just drop it and go. But what she said now is just improving and cognition is expanding you. The context is different.
Could you give me a clear example?
In example, what Gurukul told, see, it is like when she, before, when the person, before doing Swamiji or whatever, she was enjoying pop music and she had passion towards that. And, once the person came to know about Swamiji, then she got the context about, she got all the context to know about traditional music or whatever. Then she can easily drop it out of completion and she got into traditional music and she'll be able to sing from that context.
Okay, I want to just add to your point. So I want to give my life example. So before I came to Gurukul, I used to like all the songs which is out of the movie songs, all that. I used to practice. But I didn't feel anything. After singing all these bhajans, okay, I just very felt so much connected to Swamiji. This is where when I was singing the devotional song, it just took me to the feeling connection of God. When there outside, it just didn't expand me anywhere. I didn't get any feeling connection. But here it expanded me.
In this having it out, be it here or there you are singing. At that point, you are singing. If you get back to that space and think, what you sang gave you happiness. It is the same happiness you are getting even here when you sing. Both places you are singing. Then what is the difference?
But there, I didn't feel the connection with the Guru. But here, I really felt, when by uttering the God's name, I just felt I'm in the feeling connection with God.
What do you feel? What do you mean by feeling connection with God?
I just feel I'm part of Him.
Just giving a clear example. We'll take Nandanar. When he started off, he just started correcting the people whatever was wrong with the people of the village. For example, the village people, they started off with killing goats and cows. So he corrected, but after that he started the further life, or the decision was, he realized that the truth is God only. So he had a clear, he had a desire to visit Chidambaram. He avoided giving up correcting people, because it avoided contradicting that.
Machita, if you could tell the full story of Nandana, or at least expand more upon the story, then we all will be able to understand the story much better.
Okay, what happened? Okay, what happens in the from the movie which I saw? The starting, he was avoiding. He was not like so connected to God, and he was just. He was not so connected, and he was just correcting people, like wherever they were, whatever and whichever situation where they went wrong. So, but when he, in further point of his life, he wanted God more than that. He wanted to visit Chidambaram also. So. His passion was to visit Chidambaram also, but he avoided giving up correcting people.
Sundaresha feels this example is awarding to be a right example, because right from the start, Nandanar was in the space of completion only. Even when the people went and asked him for goats for them to sacrifice, Nandanar only started explaining, no need, there is something higher. Then he takes the people to the closest temple and then tells, come, we all will go there and we'll see God. And then they tell, what God are you going to see? The Nandi is straight in front of us, we can't even see the deity. Then Nandanar sings and the Nandi immediately moves. So right from the starting itself, Nandanar was in the space of completion and he was completely connected to God. So even when he told that those people that there is no need for goat sacrifice, he immediately took them and showed that as an experience to them. And throughout the story, even though they are all in the caste which cannot go to temples, they stood out and the Nandi moved for all of them to see. Same way, when he wanted to go to Chidambaram, his master tells that you have to grow 40 acres of wheat and then only you can go. But then that was not immediately possible. Then he sings a song and he just falls. At that time, immediately Shiva comes and grows the whole thing. And then he takes all the people and then goes to Chidambaram. And there he is welcomed with Purna Kumbha and everything. And then he goes and merges with Shiva. So at this point, he never had an incompletion at all, nor right from the beginning itself, he was in the space of completion with God. So there is nothing to contradict in this.
I want to give an example of King Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru, at starting, he'll actually be in the mode, his cognition will be, my life is just for war. He'll be going on with battles and so many things. So once in one battle, that will be his last battle. At that time, he'll be actually about to die. So at that time, a man will come, the king whom he will be fighting with will come and just tell him, your life is not for war. Live and find peace. He won't get that word as a click, but still somehow the word will be constantly ringing, and then he'll go, when he goes, once he'll see Buddha. Just by seeing, the whole cognition gets changed, and at that time he just renounces his previous cognition and then aligns to this. So what I understood from this story is, first he moves from the cognition that life is for war, but later his cognition just changes and gets matured.
In this story, I'm having a doubt. You told that he went through all the suffering. See, he, as far as I understand, only because he went through so much of suffering in all the war, when he was about to die, that clicked with him, and the moment he saw Buddha, he was able to rejuvenate. Like, he was able to immediately reinvent himself and change his cognition immediately. But then what about people, normal people? Everyone is not going to die in wars. Just by seeing, like, there are so many people, just by seeing Swamiji, they are not like immediately changing their cognition. If people have gone to the peak of suffering, then the moment they see something which is something beyond, which will raise them, then immediately they fall into the place. But what about others? Where does renunciation happen in that place?
See, actually, in this place, it is not that only at the peak of suffering you decide to renounce. When you know that there's something else which is going to help you more, then at that instant moment, you can just drop your previous cognition and just decide and renounce the previous cognition.
And one more thing, just want to add with what she told. We are all knowing so many people may enjoy being in that war space. We are wondering whether everybody is in that suffering place. So
that's what is my question. Only if you suffer will you renounce?
No. As far as I understand, take the previous example that I gave. I gave an example of a girl who used to enjoy pop music, but now she just renounced it, and now she is happily enjoying the traditional music inspired by Swamiji. But there are so many other people who they used to enjoy pop music, even though they enjoy it, and they don't feel that it's contradicting to the traditional music. They can make with those pop music and itself, and they can create songs, and they sing it as devotional songs, where they combine both modern and tradition. So it's not that, it's just based on how you perceive it. If you perceive it's contradicting, you can drop it. If you perceive, yes, you can add it. It is not contradicting, you can add it.
Can you explain what is perception?
According to you, what do you understand as perception?
What I understand as perception is you see through the senses, like you see through your eyes and listen or hear through your ears. And when you do all that, what you understand about that, about what you see or what you hear is perception.
I have a question, but how is perception involved in this?
And if perception, you first told it's only taking in, and now you're telling what you understand from that. So what do you mean by that? And how is perception anyway related to what you told? What Lopamudra told in that example? How is perception directly involved? Perception, if it is only input, then how is it involved? And then second statement she told, it's you understanding. Then how does that change? So first, what is perception?
Perception is you understanding an incident or situation through your patterns.
Then what is cognizing?
Cognition can avoid being just from your patterns. You can also cognize without patterns from completion.
You told that perception is something which you cognize from, you think from your patterns. So, as of now, like even I'm hearing you through my ears. So it's not becoming any incompletion in me.
And apart from that, our whole life can be run only with patterns. Swamiji told very clearly, even the pattern of you being victorious in everything is also a pattern. So every action, every decision, everything happens, even the thought you want to speak happens only from pattern. So how can you tell you can act without pattern?
What I meant from the context of perception is patterns from which you are already collected. Yes, you throughout your life you act with your patterns. But what I, for example, someone scolds me, and the first thought which will come to me is from the pattern that she doesn't like me. Whereas it will change depends upon the person. For Mahadeepa, it may not be the same.
Okay, so at this point, I just want to tell that basically what I understand as pattern is everything you accumulate, the way you see, the way you perceive is pattern. And understanding and responding to it is cognizing. So this is what is my understanding of pattern, cognizing and perception.
See, just before few statements, Adinatha Maharaj was telling that dreams are incompletions. Is it that even when Swamiji comes in our dreams, is that also incompletion?
Yes. Swamiji, yes. It is an incompletion that you are unable to be with Swamiji. You want to feel that you are Swamiji, and you want to feel you are part of Swamiji. That is the incompletion which you get, that Swamiji comes in your dream.
But sometimes Swamiji says, for example, if you want something to be done by somebody, Swami says, I will go inside his dream and say it will happen. So he tells that he will go inside their dream. Does it also mean it is incompletion? Is it also incompletion?
See, Swamiji beautifully quotes in Bhagavad Gita, it is not him, it is the cosmic energy which is intervening through his form into them and telling them what is the truth. So he is just assuming Swamiji's form to show them what the truth is.
Adding a point, and Swamiji also very clearly told in many of his satsangs that he is just a mirror. Whatever people want from him is what gets reflected into their life, and that happens to them as a reality. And when people really want it to happen, like in situations where somebody wants, suppose their father to get connected, then when Swamiji blesses Tathastu, I'll go in their dreams and do it, that itself means that that person is having so much of earning to enrich his father and connect with Swamiji. So cosmos is a big Tathastu, Swamiji is a big Tathastu. So whatever happens, because you wanted it, Swamiji goes into their dreams and does it. Just it's only a reflection of what you want.
Are visions and dream both the same?
Avoid to get your question.
Are visions and dreams both the same?
I feel visions come from a higher space. Vision comes from completion. Like vision just downloads in you. Whereas incompletions like dreams are just like incompletions which you had during the day, which you wanted to fulfill, but it just comes in the dream.
But few times I get dreams when I was before joining Gurukul. I got a dream where it was nowhere related to anything. I was there somewhere and doing something. It was zero way related to the day which I had.
Can you please explain your question in a better way?
See, Tattva Maharaj told that the dream is, it comes about like what you have in the day. So once before joining Gurukul, I got a dream where it was no way related to me. Like only I was there, but the place where was I and the people around me, everything was really so different.
Okay, your dreams are what's just coming from this particular day. It comes from day to day. Even for example, now tonight you're getting a dream, and that dream can avoid just coming from just what happened today. It can even come from like you had an incompletion at the age of your two, and it can that incompletion can come as dream even today. It avoids coming just from this particular day.
And adding a point, and Swamiji also very clearly told that all the dreams are just your past incompletions or your incompletions which you have, which you wanted to complete, like which you wanted it to happen, but it did not happen. You're not able to fulfill it. At that point, some part of you might have been in a fantasy of I am going around and I want to do this, do that, and then in reality that was not happening. So that might have come as a dream for you.
You told dreams can even be the past incompletion. So it can be the incompletion only in this birth or even in the previous birth.
As per my knowledge, I don't know whether past birth income come as dreams.
Swamiji told in one of his satsang that is about past life regression. He told sometimes you get your past life incompletions as your dream. Only few people are able to cognize it. They're able to complete it and they get out of their past life incompletions. Otherwise, it is just still as a dreams and incompletions. That's all.
Okay, so I have a question. Like, if we get visions, like after waking up from our sleep, we'll be able to remember them. Whereas in dreams, we just sleep and then we experience it in the sleep itself. And then when we get up, we only remember a certain part of it, or we don't even remember it. So how does, can you just explain that concept?
Can you explain your question more deeply?
See, my question is, we get visions and we sometimes get dreams also. So, if we get visions, we usually remember them even after waking up from our sleep. Whereas in dreams, we don't, we either remember a part of the dream or we don't even remember the dream. So, how does it?
From my understanding, what I feel is when a vision comes to you, you're in a very high conscious space. So you can still remember that. But dreams happen when you're in complete unawareness and unconsciousness. So when you fall asleep and when you get a dream, that time when you're completely unconscious, when you wake up again, the slight memory will only be there.
And that's why Swamiji also tells that before going to sleep, complete and sleep. So that either there will be no dreams, or even if there is something, that will be only a vision which will come true in your life.
Or do visions come in day-to-day life also, like when we're doing our daily routine or something?
If you're in a high space of completion, yes, it will download.
Okay, I have a question. I didn't completely understand what you said. Can you tell what is consciousness exactly? She said when you're in a high space of consciousness, visions keep coming and downloading into you, and dreams come from unawareness. So what exactly is consciousness?
Consciousness is when you are completely aware of whatever is happening inside you and outside you. That's what I understand.
Then what's the difference between awareness and consciousness?
Awareness is a technique and consciousness is a truth. When you are aware of whatever happens, you are in a space of where you know everything is happening and you are part of everything, which is consciousness. In the way of, like Swamiji very nicely experienced, that the consciousness is same in all of us. We are the same. But then from the different things which come out is you, me, and all others. Like cotton and the different threads coming out. But in the consciousness level, we all are same. That is Advaita. So that space is consciousness.
I have a question that if all of us are if in all of us consciousness exists, how can we be unconscious?
In all of us, consciousness exists, but because of your SDHD and all the incompletions you have, you don't realize the consciousness. You start like perceiving all the SDHDs and incompletions. So because of that, you think that you're not the consciousness and you're all the SDHDs and incompletions you have.
And only because we have consciousness, we are even relating with each other. We feel there is some sort of connection between each other only because of the space of consciousness which is there. Otherwise, why will we even relate with each other? Why should we have somebody as a friend? What is that feeling which gets into us that yes, he is also there? That is consciousness. That space which unites. The space of Advaita is consciousness. But your SDHD at this point, like how Tattva Maharaj told, is what makes you think that you are separate, we are separate. And when that, as Swamiji told in yesterday's satsang, when that is able to convince you in your thought level, then it makes it in your word level and then makes it in your action level.
Why during sleep it is low? Why during sleep we are in a low conscious level?
It's not that you're in a low conscious level when you sleep. Like when you sleep, you're completely like you don't get disturbed by anyone. So you're completely with yourself. At that time, what all you wanted and what all you wanted to happen in your past, all that starts like your whole consciousness is like telling you wake up from all this and stop getting incomplete.
And then one more thing also, consciousness is the same all the time, be it when you're awake, be it when you're sleeping. The consciousness, that part of us is same all the time. But at that point of time, the SDHD thing acting on us, we are not like very aware of what is happening around. We're just there in some other space where our logic does not function directly. So our SDHD does not take a place directly in unconsciousness. Same way, if you're very aware, that same space only. There's a very subtle difference between unconsciousness and complete awareness. When you're incomplete before you sleep, you're completely unconscious. When you're complete before you sleep, you're completely aware. And in the space of awareness only, all visions come. Space of unconsciousness, all incompletions come and dreams come.
If the dreams are from incompletions, then why sometimes dreams come true? For some people, the dreams will come true.
The dreams which come true, you can avoid calling them as dreams. They're more like visions. Because only when you're in the space of complete completion, visions will even happen to you. When you're completely unconscious, you won't get any vision. It will be only a dream.
And when you're earning for something very much, then that might come to you as a vision. Not from incompletion, but for the real purpose, like I want to know it, what is it? Then at times downloads and visions happen. And that's what comes true.
I have a doubt, but Sundaresha Maharaj said when we go to sleep, we are in the unconscious space. And you said and you also told in the high awareness only the vision happens. She told, and Mangala Maharaj told that is not dreams, visions when you are sleeping. I didn't understand.
Sundareshwara very clearly told, before you fall asleep, if you are in the space of completion, then your awareness increases. You still are in a space where you know what's happening, but you're still in that space of sleep where you are complete. There are no dreams coming. Either there will be no dreams or there will be just visions. And when you're incomplete before you sleep and you fall asleep incomplete, then you're completely unconscious and all your dreams happen. So I very clearly told that it is based on whether you're complete while you fall asleep or incomplete while you fall asleep. That is what decides whether you're aware and you get visions or you're unconscious and you get dreams.
So consciousness is bigger than SDHD, right? So how come when the SDHD comes to us, we only perceive that and sort of forget that we're the consciousness?
See, Swamiji tells that we feel more complete with our incompletions. We feel we are part of incompletion. We don't feel that we are part of our core, our consciousness. we only feel connected to the incompletions. That's why we at moments we used to take decisions from SDHT and everything else.
Adding to what Adinatha Maharaj told, your SDHT actually dilutes you to believe your incompletions than your consciousness. So that's where you get disconnected from where you actually belong to.
And that is why when we come to Swamiji, our consciousness directly gets connected and we are, whatever incompletion we are in, at that point immediately we are raised into the higher space.
Is biomemory and consciousness same? Because you told when we go in front of Swamiji, our biomemory listens to him. And now you are also telling when we go in front of Swamiji, the consciousness just gets almost connected to him.
What Sundaresha meant by that is your SDHT, see, like when your consciousness is there, consciousness is same. Swamiji's, ours, same. But your SDHD is like a path for that consciousness. So that is like obstacle, stopping that consciousness. Okay? Stopping that you feeling that you are the consciousness. So when you go to Swamiji, immediately the SDHD is gone. The consciousness comes alive. It's like you know what it is. You start experiencing that kind of joy and all that, because Swamiji is completely in the space of completion. He has no SDHD. So the moment you see, his space is so wide, he accommodates so many people into his space, that his pureness, his purity is much beyond any of our incompletions and all that. So that is able to completely complete us and raise us to the space of completion.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओं तत्सत् सर्वं सद्गुरुपादुकार्पणमस्तु ॐ
नित्यानन्दम्